Oh, hello everybody. Good evening. Where do that belong to? That belong to the Dead CPU book. I'm not quite sure what level. Damn it! I want to throw it into the shelves, but I don't know what slot it goes into, so I can't throw it because I'll get it wrong and then I'll lose it. Anyway, we're actually just putting back together this machine that we fixed last night with the SMC before I can get on with the next job. So I kind of prefer to get it done and get it out the door before I clog up more slots. So much crap on these heat sinks. Yeah. Well, all good. Okay. Hopefully this will actually still work. These days though, I haven't had any... I've got to be careful about what I'm saying now, but since I bought the air compressor and the new oven, I haven't run into any issues with the ultrasonic cleaning. I think previously the problem I had was that I would get residual amounts of water still sitting underneath the CPU or the PCH or one of the BGAs, and it would cause issues on the next when you try to start it up, even though you put it through the oven. Ed, Jose, Pierre, Mr. Glasgow. Hopefully this shouldn't take us more than 5 or 6 minutes to put back together. Famous last words, perhaps. Keith, do Australian network engineers sing? I come from the... Oh my god. Yeah, you actually had me going then for a second. I thought you were asking a semi-legitimate but silly question. Well done, sir. I'm pretty happy with the ultrasonic clean on this. There's no flux residue left over by the... because like I said, we replaced the SMC last night, so inevitably there's always going to be a mess, but it looks like I cleaned it up pretty good. Okay, what am I forgetting here? Got that feeling that something has been forgotten, but it could just be systemic paranoia. Hey Mark, oh, you made it early today. Maybe YouTube's decided to finally actually remind you that I stream occasionally. This is a bit of a boring process, but you gotta do it. You gotta put it back. You gotta make sure the machine is reassembled. Did you find out what happened to yesterday's stream? No I don't. It was just my computer just gave up and I made a mistake already. Yep, made a mistake. I knew I was forgetting something. See, it wasn't paranoia, I actually was. And what I forgot was that with this model you need to install the fan before you install the board. You can sort of do it like this, just sort of. But yeah, once the circuit board I suppose what you can do is you can just take the heatsink off, and then put it back down. But that is what my brain was screaming out, trying to tell me that I had forgotten. What's this about ESD? Have you ever shorted any component for not grounding yourself? Never. Never in 40 years, probably. Okay, let's call it 30 years. Never in 30 years have I. And, oh my god. But I'll tell you what I am doing. I'm doing stupid stuff, that's for sure. Forgetting to pull these flex leads up. I think I don't know, it's... Oh my goodness. Some people seem to be predisposed to just shocking everything. But I don't know how true that is. I don't know whether that's just some form of confirmation bias or what. Most of the ESD fears do spawn from the 60s and 70s, maybe early 80s, when you had things like JFETs or early 4000 series logic, and those things would give up the ghost pretty quickly if you looked at them wrong. But these days, pretty much never. No. Alright, the screw has found its way to the carpet. I will now have to go and find that screw. What's this? Jay had a funny video on that. Every time I got out of his chair, his monitor would turn off. What was the cause of that? They warrant stamps. I mean, I have situations here where if I turn on and off the fume extractor, it will cause some of the gear to reset, but that's not ESD, that's EMP. And it's probably not even EMP, it's probably just noise on the mains and then really bad quality power bricks powering the camera equipment, etc. As opposed to actual ESD. Most of the time with ESD, it is so... when it genuinely happens, there's no zap, there's nothing. You don't hear it, you don't see it, you don't feel it. It's a silent killer when it does actually happen. There's no real drama or fanfare about it. Yeah, it's not like this great big kazam, zap, or electro boom level transfer of electrons in a great big arc. None of that. It's far, far less interesting visually. It's Sudi. Inductive load from... Yeah, that's what it is, Riston, yeah. In the case of the extractor here. The mains doesn't really like it. The motors probably doesn't have any sort of snubbing or anything. It's probably just like... Probably just expects the mains power system to just take it. And yeah, Travis, yeah, most circuits these days have an abundance of ESD protection circuitry built in. And of course, once electronics are built onto the board, it becomes even more difficult again to damage them. Any news about kitchen tiles yet? We got a call a couple of weeks ago to say they were still on their way, but they were actually on their way, as opposed to, we have no recollection of your order and we don't know who you are, why are you calling us? But it's not anticipated for them to arrive until February at this point. Let's see, Warren, has your business slowed down due to the lockdowns? Not really, no. No, can't say it has. But maybe in fairness, I am living in Queensland and I am living in remote Queensland. So we don't really, other than the initial lockdown, and even then it didn't slow things down. So I'll tell you what has slowed things down, and that is the actual Christmas period. With everybody sending packages, it's slowed down the couriers, which means it takes longer for me to get my stuff. So, remember when I was working at Samsung, they were paranoid about ESD and used to show us a video of microscopic craters blown into circuit boards. Yeah, I've seen numerous photos like that. I think there's a couple in the Art of Electronics Volume 2, Edition 2, or 1. But, yeah, it's by and large pretty much not really that common an event. It's more of a boogeyman that doesn't really show up. Okay. Is there anything on the bottom of this? Yes, there is, so I can't actually turn that on. Right. Used to have very early model Fuji digital camera. If I took a picture or movie of a thunderstorm, each flash of lightning would shut the camera down. That would actually probably be the photoelectric effect caused by a diode somewhere in there, maybe a glass diode, and it would be probably on the on-off circuitry, maybe even, and the intense flash, the brightness would be enough to induce a meaningful charge to the point where it would think that you probably pressed the on-off button. That's typically how those ones can work. There's been enough instances of cases where, oh man, I just realised my brain's not with it. First generation Subaru WRX would shut down ignition due to lightning. Okay, now that's EMP. Anan Abe. Camera wasn't looking anywhere near the lightning. Was the camera exposed at all to the lightning? As in, would it be exposed to the actual flash at some point? I mean, otherwise, yeah, it could be the EMP. That is the thing with modern circuitry. All the input gates are exceptionally high impedance. And so if you've got a few picofarad of capacitance on the gate, you can pick up a pulse. And then, with the microcontrollers and whatnot needing so very little charge to register a signal, then they can react on that sort of thing. One good reason to put something like a 10k pull down on your input gates. Ugh, I hate this. These things do not stay, they don't stick. There we go. Let's see if that stays down. You're no data recovery person in Melbourne. Have 20 hard drives for donor use. So what you're trying to... Oh, right, you're trying to give the drives to somebody so that they may use them. I don't know about Melbourne. Sorry about this, just that it's got a sticker on the underside which reveals a little bit too much information. So I'm having to, do it off screen. I just sincerely hope that when I bring it back on the screen and plug the power in, that it does actually come up. It was a Raspberry Pi that seized. Yes, Tom, that was the voltage regulator that actually had that fault. It was a timely reminder that we have to sometimes be on the lookout for those sort of things. I think because the regulator they were using, it didn't actually have any topside encapsulation as far as I remember. Hey Datum, ni hao. Okay, let's see if this works. Could be a flat battery. Okay, no, it works. I'm just making sure it boots into the customer's system okay, and then we shut it down, put it off to the side. Yep, that's fine. Okay, shut down. Alright, now we can actually get on with the other machine. What do we got? 1398. Power's on, but not much else. Fan spin, power, 5V and chipmunk, no CPU, no oh no. If we're lucky, if we're really lucky, this is going to be a 2012, and we'll have a U8900 issue. If we're not lucky, or if we're semi not lucky, it will just be a CPU VRM replacement job. If we're really unlucky, it's going to be dead CPU. Alright, same thing on this one, customer details on the bottom that I don't want to reveal. Riston, yeah, thank you for that. I was quite happy that it actually came through. I was a little worried about the clocking on that those two lines I was bringing in from the other side. I was a bit worried about the length of the cable, the wire, causing clock skew. But seems like we got lucky, or at least seems that way. Okay, this no GPU on this. This is not a 3332. This is a 138. So it could be VRM, could be something else. Scan that tag in. Yes, I was watching Jason's new video today. I was talking to him today. Poor bastard's still recovering from getting hit down by the COVID. Hey Michael Naz, bonjour, ça va? Okay, fingers crossed, it's something we can actually work with here. 20 in Ballarat, Victoria, Arrogard out in action. Wow. Did you have much rain there lately? Is that what's causing the mozzies to come out, or you got sandflies or something else? Okay, so power's up. We're getting a fan spin. There's a little bit of liquid over here. 1.5 amps. It's a little on the high side, but do have a link to SDS. Just search for SDS Telecom in YouTube and you'll get it. Yeah, alright, so we're definitely not getting a CPU coming up. Hey, Dadamraz, thank you very much. Much appreciated as always. Yeah, definitely no. So we've either got something holding the CPU down. I don't know. The chances are it's probably a dead CPU. But let's pull it apart and find out how wrong I'm going to be. .22 nip switch. Jeez, it's about 25, 26 here at the moment. Thank you, Joseph. Always appreciate you doing that. Okay, we're just going to see if it isn't the daughter board holding it down. Sometimes that can occur. 1502s and 1398s, the daughter boards have frequently been the culprits in preventing machine coming up properly. Wow, man, that exposure is massively overblown. Let's try to zoom out a little. There we go. It's on auto exposure, as you can tell. Hey, Rangoon. It's missing something, that's for sure. Okay, so it's not the daughter board. Attain W. Good to see we've got the regulars turning up. Yeah, there's definitely some sort of liquid going on here. These are one of the designs I really am not a fan of. For getting this camera connector out, it's a pain because the flex is attached to the fan with adhesive, but you kind of need some yield to be able to get the camera connector out, but you can't really get, you sort of got to force your way through to get that one off. Not a fan of that sort of disassembly technique. Okay, Mark. No worries. Well, it's good to see you at least once again. 24 hours after you turned up. Nice to see you still with us in general. Well, Travis, I won't know until I actually get in there. First I'm going to check for visual clues rather. And if I can't find any visual clues, then yes, I'll start having to dig around and check voltages, things like that. I mean, we do have MagSafe, we are getting into SO, so, you know, it's half working. Have you heard from old Jim? Yeah, I heard from him this afternoon. He posted a video of his sulphur-crested cockatoo friends on his shoulder. Probably trying to steal food out of his hand. That's the sort of friend a sulphur-crested cockatoo is. In fact, most of Australian birds, or in fact birds in general, are like that. They'll be your friend while you got food for them, and they'll bite your hand and fly away with your food. That was a weird noise. Hey Jason. Okay, there is a certain degree of corrosion going around on here. Just, fluff and junk. I mean, to be honest, this board really should have its VRMs replaced regardless. Essentially, if you get these boards in, part of the standard service should be replacing the VRMs. 138, Jason, 138. So it could be that the sleep circuit is being shut down. This sort of fluff here can often lead to shorts. SMC looks perfectly good, so that's not going to be anything for tonight. Much to the displeasure of a good number of people. But you had your SMC last night, so stop getting greedy. Cassowary makes a nice pet. Oh boy. Sure, if you like being gutted. So did what's going on here? Okay, be right back. Something in OBS gets a little upset every now and then. There is some liquid damage down here. This is 6808, so yeah. Bit of junk between the keyboard there, but that's not a problem. Jason, well, yeah. Just tell her you're multitasking. I mean, after all, if you're going to clean the toilet with it, you may as well clean the circuit boards with it as well. No need to have multiple toothbrushes. I must say I'm not really feeling that crash hot at the moment. It's not likely to be the vid of the COV, because we haven't had any reports of any instances of it in this town. But it wouldn't surprise me if it's some random bug from some, well, you know, people dropping bugs all over the place around this town, which is why I'll actually be quite happy if we as a society do get more into the habit of not shaking hands and just keeping a little bit of biological distance and being more accepting of wearing masks at times. Yeah, just those two little things. That'd be good. Yeah, I visually can't find anything here. I'm just going to check the Smc Lid status. Since, it's... You know how I am. I like to try and stick to areas that actually have visible damage on them if there is any liquid damage. Because more often than not, the fault is going to be around there. So we'll just check to see which one's Smc Lid and see how it behaves. I suspect, if we're lucky, we'll probably get a couple of years of good social behaviour, but beyond that, I don't see it lasting forever. People go back to their standard complacent ways. Okay, Smc Lid R. Okay, we'll see what that value is. And see, that doesn't look that pretty down there, which is why I'm sort of suspecting it. 3.4. As far as I know, it's supposed to be 3.4. See if it changes when a magnet comes near it. But I'm pretty sure it's meant to be 3.4. Just don't want it actually landing onto the circuit board. Okay. It doesn't appear to be changing as I get close to it. Yeah, so it functions fine. I've got the magnet under there, and as you can see, it's gone to 0. Magnets capture my fingertip, of course. There's no denying that's pretty cruddy looking area, but unfortunately I can't really sufficiently lay blame on that. I was kind of hoping I could. Alright, well, I guess we try to replace the VRMs and see how that goes. Oh, that's rare. That is really rare for that stuff to come off without leaving behind some sort of colossal mess. Yeah, the other thing we have to do is to take out these two screws. If you don't take these two screws out, you can inadvertently rip the mounts off the board. Well, you don't really rip them off, they just desolder, and then you're halfway through focusing on not messing up the board, and then all of a sudden you get this spring-loaded thing shooting in your face, and you spack out and you ruin your board, all because of the these things here desoldering off the board. Hey Costas, have you checked the CPU? Oh yeah, that's probably a smart thing to do. What I'm going to do is check the resistance. Seven. That's actually pretty good for. It's pretty good for this. Yeah, 7. That should all be the same. Yep, 7. So the CPU appears to be intact. I'll do this under the microscope. These are FDMF 6824s. Usually I use 3030s, but you can't get 3030s currently. Yeah, I think every time we think that we've got a supply of replacements for these VRMs, we run out. And then we've got to find another one that's sufficiently compatible. So we're now down to, well, these ones. It's a bit of a nuisance, to be honest. Alright, the other thing I need to do is prepare. I've got a shield, and that's going to be for the CPU when I get up to the CPU. Clearly I'm not there right now, but when we work our way up there, I want to be ready. See you, Warren. Thanks for dropping in. Appreciate it. Boom, boom, boom. At least with this particular board, the VRMs aren't too close to the CPU. There are some other ones, particularly if the boards with the GPUs built on, the external GPU, and they can be quite right the pain to get off. They still take a fair bit of heating though. There we go. Now the trick here is to not actually bother putting new solder down. It's just no point. Just get your replacement chip, and as long as the pads are clear. Oh, that piece of junk there causing me grief. And naturally I'm offset by about half a pad, because naturally I'm on YouTube. And the nice thing is, almost always it will settle back perfectly in place. You don't have to mess around or anything like that. Just a bunch of hair on this board. What solder tip am I on? That depends. The micro pencil that I've got, I think I've got the KN. It's the long snout version, I think, of the... There is a shorter version of it, but it's the knife tip. Oof, things are getting a little warm down here. Fresh flux. Some nights you just can't seem to... That's it. No, I got the shakes bad there for the moment. Okay, let's come on. Try to bring this under control. That is freaking terrible. Okay, I am badly burning my fingers here. Everything's going out of whack. Personally, I'm blaming Tim Herman. Definitely Tim's fault. It's kind of a little bit skew, but it's surprisingly not that bad. Hey, Pro Engineer. Alright, this one's the tricky section because we do have that very important keyboard backlight connector there. And if you think I'm being silly, believe me, I'm not. It's you melt that thing and it is a major pain to get a replacement. There we go. Yeah, it's a major pain in the backside to get a replacement for that particular connector. If you're lucky, you've got enough 4924 boards or something like that lying around. The reason why, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I always find I have a shortage of those connectors because they almost always get liquid damage on the 1502s. So I almost never have any spares. This is offset slightly. The middle hasn't yet. Oh, mother frick. Well, if it wasn't offset... Yep. Definitely must not be feeling great. Yeah, that's gonna need some love and care. Yeah, Jason shakes tonight. Not really sure why, but yeah, maybe it's because I'm not feeling crash hot. Not great though, not great. I don't really want to run the soldering iron tip over those pins because it almost never has enough thermal mass, thermal transfer ability, and you just end up with these silly cold joins. Essentially what I'm looking for is just to make sure I do not have any shorts. I mean, I'm wearing shorts, but I don't want any shorts on the board. It doesn't matter too much if the exterior of the pins doesn't seem like it's reflowed, because most of the power transfer is happening on the underside. There's a little ball there on that cap. We'll just flick that off. Where are you? Right there. Just cool it off. The Red 20 Bull. Huh. I haven't had a Red Bull in a long time. If I am going to have an energy drink, it will probably be V, and I very rarely have that either. Pro Engineer, I'm hoping I get some wins as well. I've got an iPhone 10 to deal with after this. Alright. Let's see if we get some green flashing. Or at least it's no worse than it was before. Alright, we got a tricky one. Tricky. Let's find out what's going on. We're definitely drawing a bunch of power. CPU's definitely up. Wonder if we've just got a dead USB PCH maybe? Yeah, that'd be fun. 1.7, so we definitely get power to the CPU, but we're not getting anywhere. Let's see if we've got platform reset. What am I looking for? Okay, this is a bit of the fun part when it comes to the 138, the 163, the 426, is that there's the board views for them are not actually very accurate in certain areas, and this is one such area where the board view and the board do not agree. So we can see, like, we're looking for this configuration here, we're looking for a test point, and that doesn't match what's actually on the board. Okay, so we do have the resistor, we do have U5540, we've got that and that. But yeah, there's no test point there, it's missing, and that resistor's not there. But we'll just take it off that leg, that'll be fine. Okay, so platform reset buff is okay. Actually trying to... Oh, interesting, it just shut itself down. Alright, that's a little odd. I don't know whether it shut it down for thermal reasons, or maybe it was because I touched it with the multimeter. Sometimes when you touch these lines with the multimeter, it either drains enough charge or adds enough charge, in this case maybe drain, to cause it to spasm and think that it's been toggled off. Trying to think, is it really is it possible that instead we've actually just got a different kind of fault here, whereby we think it's no CPU, but maybe the USB isn't getting any data, and the original fault was the VRMs, but it's compounded by the fact that the USB, something's gone wrong with that. I don't know. Sometimes these things can happen. I'm probably just wishful thinking, but yeah, wishful thinking. The problem is that the board views just don't match because they're for different boards. Yeah, they're fine. It's fine, that's USB power. Feel like I'm missing something maybe blatantly obvious. No, it just feels like the CPU, it's got the right sort of resistance, it's warming up properly. I feel like something's holding it down. That's interesting. There's flux there. Ow, that hurt. Zombie fuses, maybe? No, they're good. Well, the best thing I can do in order to check this is to actually put it back into the chassis, and then... what is that weird gold flake down there? And check the other USB port. And if the other USB port also reports nothing, then I'll sort of start to believe it's not that. I suppose the other thing is I'll just see if it boots. I've got a dead PCH maybe. I do get a good number of these with dead PCHs. Let's put it back into the chassis. Kind of wasting my time here a bit, but... surging circuits. 99.9% likely, yeah, there is the problem with the CPU not coming up. Yeah, 99.9% likely it is not that USB port at fault. They're misleading us. But the sort of stupid things like that happen often enough that you do want to eliminate it just in case. It would not be the first time that I have run amok chasing a fault that wasn't actually there. I don't really care to do that today. So better to waste a couple of moments now than a few hours. So, bridge flex. Could also be done something dumb like a bad battery for all you know. Like I said, wouldn't be the first time. .3 amps, so it's charging battery. Doesn't look like we're getting any blinks of the green, so we could have dead PCH. Can't tell if the screen's energized or not. Oh, Joseph, that's a terrible dad joke. No, I don't really have a confirmed way of determining if the PCH is genuinely dead other than just simply making the assumption after everything else has been tested, or at least as much you can. Time to put in the path of 1534s. Well, at least the 1534s, you know you're going to end up with that outcome. Yeah, it's a very hot CPU. What am I missing? What am I missing? Could it be a bad SMC? Okay, no cap log slide. Let's see if it responds to the on-off button. Yeah, it responds to the on-off button. Different things. The CPU resistance was about 7.88, so that was fine. Yeah, rehot. I think you mean replace this PCH. That's interesting. Alright. I think it shut itself down then. .8. Check the hall sensor, it's doing fine. Because yeah, that was one of the first things I thought of was, you know, do we have an SMC lid issue? But it was not that. Hey Blazing Magazine, Electro Rep, good evening. Yeah. PCH is slightly warm. Uh, 2 amps is actually starting to get a little bit excessive of power consumption. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it back out, and then I'm just going to check a few of the lines, see what voltages they have. Check our rails, you know, go through the rails, see what is missing. So we know we're in the SO state, so that kind of eliminates a lot of possibilities. Like maybe, I don't know, maybe it's something dumb. Are we missing RTC clock? Although usually you don't get into SO, I'm pretty sure. Brain has not been my big friend tonight. Okay, why won't this come out? Seriously, why won't this come out? Yeah. Wow, it's one of those days. Come on, there you go. Just need to find the chipmunk with the end that I want on it. Naturally, I don't know where my USB stuff is. Come on, man, I had you like half a day ago. There is a container I have here which has all of the USB sticks and stuff, and it was being covered by the chassis of this. So there's percussive maintenance. Yeah, that's always good. That works. This one should do the trick. Now the reason why we're doing this is because we're going for a voltage measurement run. Then we may as well just grab onto a ground plane like that, and then we don't have to worry about handling the probe for the ground all over the place. Okay. Quad display. It's going to switch back now. Damn it. The only job with the AirTags is they will say everything is located in this room. Okay. It's going to be on page 70 something. There we go. Page 70 it is. Well, I guess we'll check what PV Bus G3 Hot is. Let's see, there's those frustrating little fuses. There they are. Damn it. Guess who tried to test voltage with ohms mode? Yeah. 1257, so it's fine. HS computing. 1255, that's okay. Six. I'm genuinely not expecting any of these to have any dramas, but I just want to see that they're okay. Alright, again we have a problem where the board view and... what do they? Oh no, nope, they do. I'm just dumb. Yep, it's fine. Well, we can't measure RTC on this side because it's under the PCH itself. So we have to do a flip over. Heat sinks are hot, so let's hope it starts regulating itself. E1900. I can't get to that pin either. Oh, down the bottom edge here. Alright, so that's a bit of a problem. See how it's jumping 3433, 3433. That's not a good sign. Because that basically just goes straight to the PCH. And it's taken a dive, so yeah. And power has switched off. Okay, interesting. Wonder if that's because I touched it. Let's try that again. It's stable while it's up and running. Alright. for now, we're just gonna keep an eye on that. Thermal cutout, no, it shouldn't do that. It should slow things down, but it shouldn't actually shut it down. God damn differences on these damn mainboards. Okay, we're going to take pin 2 here. 5 volts. There, the current draws all over the place. Okay, test pad up here. I do love a test pad. 5 volts is good. And there's no test pad out here where I was hoping for it. And there's certainly no... oh wait, maybe there is. Okay, here we go. My bad. 3v3. Something cooked itself out, maybe, but I'm not seeing any green blinks yet, but yeah, it's certainly something to watch out for. Let's see. 3.32. Just seeing if this jumped around at all. Okay, it's steady. 3v3 sus. Yeah, I made a change to Flexboard View to the way that it does the highlighting of the name of any parts that are on the network, or if you press it. And I've actually got to say I'm not happy with how it is doing it, because see, in this particular case you can see 39.2 and the resistors are underneath the text, and you don't see the part until you zoom in far enough. So previously I would have it so the text would be above the part. You know, I'm just thinking I might revert that change, because I find myself getting cranky at it, and if you find yourself getting cranky at some sort of new feature, it's probably not a good thing. And once again, there's a significant difference there between those two. You know, what I should be doing is actually checking to see if I'm not getting overcurrent or something like that. Ah man, this board has got so many variations compared to what the really 138 is. I'll try the 163, sometimes it's a bit better. Love it if it's the SMC, yeah. And the 163 is definitely not a match either. 426 is the same, so I'm kind of doomed no matter which one I'll pick. Oh wait, picked the wrong one. We're still trying to get a grip on sus, aren't we? Alright, there's a resistor there above the battery connectors. Okay, we do actually have that one. Thank goodness. Sus is okay. Nope, none of you guys match up. Flippin' heck. You don't match up, do you? Nope. Okay, Jason. Take care. Right, now... Yeah, this is becoming more difficult because of the fact that our board views just don't agree with what we're actually looking at. So it makes everything twice as difficult. Like see here, this does not match. So, and there's not much you can really do about it, other than start paying someone a lot more money to fix it up. But I doubt we're going to have anyone bother fixing it up for a board that is this old now. Did I just do 3v3 SO? I don't think so. Yeah, it's okay if we can find them on the chips, because at least the pins don't change. 1.36. Well, I'm just checking all of them. We are at SO though, because we've got the 5 SO running. Anyway, I'm just checking them all. Not gonna try and assume otherwise. Yeah, another mismatch. I bet you there's no resistors down there. Yep, there's not. So we can't even find that one. What is that? 3... yeah, whatever. Okay, so U1900. Okay, this big cap here. 1.5. Yep. It is a 138. Yeah. But, like I said, the problem is that even though the board view says 138, it's not really a 138 board view. 0.68. VTT DDR S3 is 0.68, and that's actually what it's meant to be. Yep. VTTs. I noticed Jason Vilmer's actually using Flexboard View for his phone stuff, so that was interesting to see. Bloody hell, none of that matches there. So we've got these 3 resistors. They're no. Oh wait, no, I'm an idiot. Let the record show. 1 volt. Okay, that's meant to be a 105, and we're at 1. To me, that's slightly suspicious. I mean, I know 50 millivolts does not seem a lot, but if it is marked as 105, then it should be 105. Or at least, within 1% of that, or less, actually. Yeah, so that's stuck at 1, where it should be 105. So yeah, that's a concern. Because, like I said, I know it doesn't seem like it's a big disparity, but it is bigger than you'd expect. And that is the end of those rails. Yeah, that's the end of those rails. So the only thing we've got is the 105 rails. This is PPV 105 SO. So we could actually have a bad RAM in there or something. I don't know. Where do you even come from? It is a bit sus, yeah. Because it could influence things like this. Which of course we cannot find. Okay, so they're obviously not using that circuit, I'd say. Okay, we've got these 2 little resistors by that bank. I know that these 2 are not actually part of the same as what I'm looking at on the board. The reason being is because if you look at the board, for a start, those 2 resistors are not connected together. And then secondly, they go into the chip. Whereas according to this board view, there's none of that. Okay, that one goes onto the bottom side. Okay, so they've actually flipped those over. That is crazy. Alright. SMC delayed power good. So what we want is the underside of those resistors, so they're actually upside down. So this here is, okay, 3.4. Okay, so that's fine. Damn it. Well, we've got to still find out where our 105 is generated. That's probably the TPS, the TPS chip. Yep, 105 SO. Okay. And, oh, it's the ISL 95870. My bad. You do not look like an ISL. Yeah. Okay, so that's that big inductor there. Okay, interesting. Okay, so it's it is 106, which is slightly overshot here. Interesting. $105. Okay, so it's 105 okay there, but where we measured it, it is not okay. Question is, where did we measure? Crap. $70 page, go. Elamine, thank you for dropping in. I'm sort of slowing down and suffering here because I don't know what I'm doing. Or I'm chasing some sort of obscure fault that's probably going to kick my backside, I'm afraid. It's probably going to be a dead PCH or something like that. And that's 105. Where the heck did I measure that voltage then? That maybe I wasn't measuring the right point. Maybe I was wrong all along. Can't really get in there, that's fine. Maybe it magically came back. Yeah, I know, I'm in the denial phase, I agree. I think I'm going to walk away from this one for the moment. Maybe some fresh eyes tomorrow or something like that will pick up what's going on, but it's not looking overly promising. Yeah, at least not yet. It's not. Yeah, maybe I have missed something. Maybe there is in fact a big duty of damage somewhere and I just haven't seen it. I don't know. All I know is that we've spent too much time on that now. It's time to get on to the next project. I'm not really looking forward to the next project either, to be honest, but I've got to do it. Because it's an iPhone. Jason Vilmer, if you're out there, iPhone time. Jason Vilmer's probably just going to go, oh hell no, I ain't going to go to that. I ain't got time for that crap, Mr. Daniels. And I can't find my... There it is. Okay, now the problem with this particular phone is that, as you can see, it's been dropped. It actually has a very slight bend in it, and it doesn't have audio during phone calls. But you can record your voice. Now, as far as I understand, the voice recording and the phone call use the same microphone. So therefore that circuitry must be working. But, and the other thing that's going to suck on this is when I take the screen off, it is going to actually just shatter to pieces. Looks like it had a direct impact there. Yeah. And I hate it when it shatters to pieces because the customer's going to go, well, the screen was working, yeah, it wasn't great, but it was working. And now it doesn't work at all. You owe us a new screen. And we'll just accept that it doesn't work on voice calls, but it works on everything else. So you see, I'm sort of setting myself up for a real predicament. Yeah, I need to, and this is actually an XS. This is not a 10. The fastest way you can tell the difference between a 10 and a 10S or X and an XS is that the XS has this little vertical band on it. And that's about it. I gotta admit, I'm gonna see if I can warm this up a little. Normally I don't bother warming up my screens, phones for swapping out the screen, but I really want to try and reduce the damage on this one, even though it's probably just going to shatter like anything. My guess is, based on the damage and the fact that it's been flexed, I'm suspecting that the sandwich itself has actually got a fatigue crack in it. So what my plan of attack here is simply to put the sandwich onto the heater, get it up to temperature, give it a little nudge, and then let it cool back down, and that's it. That's basically what I'm going to do. That's the plan. Look at this. This is already... looks like it hasn't been opened. Okay, I'm going to go something a little finer than this, which means I have to get out my knife and create my own super fine niemand. It's good enough. It'll get me through to the... come on. No. There you go. I can feel you just rippling away. And don't touch the Face ID. Fun moments I've had with fixing iPhones is when you're trying to peel away this the sealant, and it snaps and then hits the Face ID sensor, and you're like, really? And then you spend the next half hour really carefully trying to remove the junk that's on the Face ID and begging and hoping that it's not damaged. Damn Phillips. Boom, 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 boom. Battery. Okay, now we can go all silly and crazy and get everything else off. Unfortunately, because I've made that super thin, it struggles now to get that off. Just a little bit of heat. Have you considered adding more multimeters for the big car? The biggest problem with adding more meters, I simply just don't have access to the meters. That's the problem. If I have access to the meters and the protocol, then it's a trivial process for me to, build another project, put another GitHub project up that supports that meter. Right. I'm just going to dig around, have a look. Let's see what we've got here. See if I can see anything visually. I probably won't, but worth checking first. Miles, the audio I see was a 7 thing, yeah. Not so much on these ones. On these, it's typically sandwich failure. As I don't do these on a regular basis, so it is not something I'm 100% comfortable with. But, I mean, there's junk in that charge port, but it's not. And the meshes are slightly occluded, but they're not tragically occluded. Yeah, they're not occluded to the point where you're not going to hear anything through them. Like I said, the voice recorder works fine. Alright, let's get this thing out. Oh, come on. Alright, what's to be difficult? Just relying on fingernails here. Okay, that was the antenna. By the way, feel free to tell me if I'm disassembling this incorrectly. I won't get my feelings too badly hurt. For some reason I always think that there's sort of a little snag or something on the excess that deal with here. Like under here there's a couple of connectors, I think. No, never quite remember the trick. Yeah, how am I supposed to get this out? Do I have to take the cameras out? Yeah, I won't be separating the sandwiches, I'll just be resetting the sandwich. Yeah, I'm trying to remember now. Right, could take these cameras out, or what? Oh, and trying to get this out confounded me. It's like, how are you supposed to? You know, obviously you can, but clearly I'm not that good a technician. Yeah, the cameras came out. Okay. Now the question is, how do I get the beeping things out? Yeah, seriously. I've forgotten how to get the camera. How to get the cameras out? I had one the other day and the cameras just came out, fell out. And I thought, that ain't right. Maybe it is. My bad. They just come out. A little bit of heat's going to be required there. Ow. While electronics and two-sided tape don't mind 250 degrees centigrade, the human finger does not appreciate it. There we go. As I've said before, knowing something has to come out often makes it possible to get that thing out. Screw up the top of the back camera, not for Face ID. Right, yeah. I'm really paranoid about damaging that Face ID sensor. There we go. Naturally I forgot to eject the damn SIM tray. Honestly, if there is a fatigue crack in there, I wouldn't know it. All I can really do at this point is just, well, just heat it up, give it a little bit of a wiggle. That's interesting. That's a piece of copper there. Not really something you'd expect to see. It looks like it's from a screw insert. It does kind of look, I don't know, does it look like there's been liquid there, or does that just look factory? I think it's just factory. Factory wash. More likely the pads from the sandwich have torn. Quite likely though. Which means when we reflow it, it'll probably last for a day or two and then revert back to the same behavior. Okay, I'll go get the machine to do this. Where is everybody? Have you already mid-zoned them, have you?
Yeah, except me.
Okay.
So
Sorry?
being received.
Mm-hmm. I don't know where Momo is at the moment. He's not in a talkative mood at the moment because he got wormed tonight. Didn't appreciate that. Right, I really hate the electrical safety of these devices because I've got some seriously shonky connectors on the end of it. I would much prefer if these things used like a 12 or 24 voltage element, but instead it's a nice 240 volts. Okay. Now the question is which one's which here. Good thing I'm not trying to save the world in a hurry here because we'd all be dead. Okay, I'm not even going to try and cut any of these stickers or anything like that. It's just going to be heated up, bring it back down the end. Okay. Now we wait. Not quite sure how everyone decides on when it's ready. Just wait and wait and wait. Keeps you on your toes at 230. Yeah, it really does. So I'd be fine if, yeah, I could understand even if they went 48 volts, but 240 straight into there, it's like, yeah. And I would have thought if they went 12 volts, oh yeah, DC, it would have made it easier in terms of making it international. You just plug 12 volts, 5 amps or something like that. I mean, this probably only takes what? It's probably no more than 20 or 30 watts. How do you know how long you would have to save everyone that? What? Who knows what we're talking about there? Always mix the internal parasite meds with AD. What is AD? Smoke. When smoke comes out, it's probably, yeah, it's probably true. Well, I'm definitely feeling less well right now than when I started this stream, which means I'll probably stay up till 3 in the morning and complain about it on Twitter. And this display, yeah, I've got to admit, I'm actually surprised I managed to get it off without too many pieces ejecting from that. That is a really, so you can't really see it. There we go. You can see the impact point in the middle there. Keeping that intact, I'm quite impressed. Hill's appetite diet. Oh, okay, I don't know what that is. I know Hill's, I didn't realise they had appetite diet. Yeah. Do you know what focal length of your glasses is? You're talking about these ones? They're about 300 millimeters. About 300, yep. I also have another pair which are about 700, 750, and yeah, that's about all I bother with. I used to have long distance glasses as well for driving, but I don't bother anymore. The 300, these ones here I find are very good because I can, sort of hunch over a iPhone or something like that and see the screw heads. I can actually distinguish between Tri-Wing and Philips, things like that. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I really don't know what the... Oh, you can see some flux bubbling there. Yeah, I was an idiot. I should have taken that stuff off. Looks like we're not fully central, even though that one there is, and that one there is, and that one there isn't. Yeah, seriously, anyone want to give me a guideline? I should do this more often on my own gear. I do have a couple of iPhone 10s and 10s's that I could play with, but I'm naughty and I don't. I think that moved. Shite. Yep, that's moving. I've turned it off now. See, Tony W. My glasses are 40 centimeter, 400 mil. And I was wondering if 800 might be more useful for reading from bigger screens. I mean, yeah. But the trouble I find is that, if you've got to keep swapping between the glasses, there's a major pain in the backside. So I have to choose whether I'm either for the setup I've got right now, I don't. I just have the short distance ones, and then I go with larger fonts on the screen and deal with it that way. 40 centimeter is what it's about. Yeah, it's about that. The only problem I find with that sort of distance with the iPhones, like when you're doing the final repairs, is that you're just still too far away and you don't have that resolving ability in your vision. But you're doing it for reading, so that's different. Okay. I'm just gonna cool it off. Yeah, what's scary about this device? Like, yeah, we've got US 2-pin non-grounded, and then we have this terrible Australian adapter, and that goes into this press-sealed. I probably can separate that. Yeah, flick switch. And then what really cracks me up is it goes into this XT connector, which is traditionally it's a DC connector for using on model aircraft and things like that. It is so easy to just plug this in, switch that on, and then you've got some moderately exposed mains points in there. If you stuck your tongue on there, you'd die probably. I don't know. I'll ask Big Clive. Yeah, I do not consider that a safe contraption by any means. But unfortunately there's no way I can adapt this to be safer at a lower voltage. If anyone knows of a 12, 24 volt, safe version of this sort of thing, then let me know. Hey, Richard T from Vancouver. In terms of actual functionality, I'm perfectly happy with this thing, but it's just, I don't like the safety aspect of it. It really gives me the heebie-jeebies every time I use it. We have 230 volts here, just to make it more interesting. 230 volts, 50 hertz. It used to be 240, but it got changed down to 230. I think it was officially changed, I think, back in the early 70s or something. And so yeah, 230 volts, 50 hertz. Sunshine board heater, Mars. Let's go have a look at what this is. Oh, it's a host only, alright. Oh, okay, I see you got multiple different things. Do all of these come with it, or do you have to get them separate because it's like host only? Where are the other ones? Right, T12A. Okay, so this is the one Wow, what? 109. That's a little Lexi. Just a little Lexi. Ah, the damn bug. See, this is why it's hard many a time to support local businesses. Because we're looking at $40 for the main unit. Let's see, how much for the... Well, let's just have a look at them. And $20. Yeah, 40, 40... 38. So yeah, it's you're sort of really paying through the nose. Now I realise local business has to make its money. That's just a bit hard to swallow. And I have lost... There we go. Right, just had to get chat back then. Now, the worst thing is it's not really even tax, it's just... Obviously, I know, because I used to import stuff from China for model aircraft and whatnot. And it does tend to add up. So even though their prices are twice as much, they're probably only making 20% margin. So it's not a huge margin really, but the downside is that as a consumer, your loyalty only goes so far, and you just basically sort of go, well, you know what, I really want to support local, but my wallet just doesn't want to come along for the ride. Like I said, it's frustrating. Yeah, like I said, if you want to support local, but there's only so far you can go. And it's a problem I ran into as an importer, and that's why I'm no longer an importer. Once China started opening up and essentially selling direct, it was pretty much game over. Because if you have a choice between buying local and waiting for mail order, which often can be a case of they take your money, then they buy from China, then it gets shipped from China. Yeah, unless it's on hand, ready to ship, then chances are you're probably going to end up feeling a bit disgruntled by the end of the process. And I say, yeah, you're not trying to rip off people, but you are trying to keep the lights on. But it's just it's a business that you can't sustain. Or you have to find a compelling sort of a compelling advantage, like having domestic stock ready to go and still at a price that people can eat. So if they were selling them for like $80 a piece, $75, $80 a piece, you know, I could probably roll with that. but if I'm going to be paying 200 plus for the basic kit, it starts to hurt. Not that I should be one to complain. I mean, geez, I sting people pretty hard with the cost of my software, and that's not even a physical entity. Well, there's no point in me screwing that in. Got the antenna connected. I may as well put the screen back on. See if this thing even still works. I mean, I buy all of my screens and things like that locally. I don't buy iPhone parts from China. The main advantage there, as opposed to... See, I'm not... How can I say it? I don't know the quality of what I am receiving when I'm buying from China. Whereas I let the local people deal with that issue, and I've put this on backwards anyway. But when it comes to the situation that we just seen there, where you have the same product, then you already know that the product is probably going to work. So the local distributor doesn't really give you anything in that sense, other than having stock on hand. And Joseph King, your software's still too cheap. Yeah, I'm happy enough where it is now, to be honest. I mean, yeah, I can keep ramping the price up, but I think I'm personally content with where it is now. Okay, I've got to charge this thing up. I used to sell software that was like $3,500–4,000 a license. That was fun. I'd sell about 10 or 20 of those a year. That was to places like Virgin and the banks and things like that. It was for email content filtering. And so I'd be selling site licenses. And they would have like 25% renewal fee. So that was good. But the market sort of moved away from that. Once Gmail became a more common thing, then I didn't really have sufficient market coverage. Yeah, feeling unwell. Just trying to check to see if I can even find the customer details of this one. Place I used to work for to do timekeeping fingerprint machines, software alone to record and calculate pays was $150,000 a year license. To be fair, you know, that's accounting type software, and that's ugly stuff. Anyone who gets involved in accounting software deserves a lot of money. That is nasty, nasty stuff. Payrolls, things like that. Ugh. Been there, done that. Don't ever want to do it again. It was truly depressing, distressing, whatever. It was not nice. So yeah, my hat's off. My hat goes off to those people who are involved in that kind of software, because it's an intractable project. The more features you add to it, the more features you have to add to it, and the more people are upset about the fact that you haven't added those more features. So you're constantly expanding your reach, your software, like its reach keeps getting bigger and bigger, which means you're dealing with more and more problems that can't be solved 100%. Yeah, let's see. Right, I'm trying to find the person to see what the code is. Okay, Greg, take care. Thanks for dropping around as always, Greg. Much appreciated. Let's see. Oh, there's no passcode on it. Haha. Yeah. Awesome. And it's also not yet booted. Jeez, man, how flat did this thing get? It's 1.8 amp. Ah, here we go. Yep, it's coming up. Now the only trouble is I've got to work out how to... Hey, 6 skills! And I've got to send off that stuff to you, by the way. In fact, I've got to send off a lot of stuff to a lot of people. I'm very, very bad when it comes to mailing stuff out. You just answer it so I can test it. There you go. Oh. Alrighty. And naturally I've taken the sim out of this. Ah, damn it. Okay, let's hope I don't chuck this up. Damn it. Not now. Phone, keypad. Oh, jeez. I don't even know my own number. I hope it's the right one because otherwise... What? Cancel. See if I can message myself. I'm messaging myself so I can find out what number I've got to call. And that's not coming through. Great. It seems like the person's got a locked number or something. Yeah, what I really need is a service that will... yeah, not delivered. Okay. What I need to do is I need to screw that back in. I'll pop the SIM out of mine, call the number. I just realised I haven't put that bracket back in yet. Can't see. ISO blind. What? Okay. Hopefully no one sends me an SMS. I do worry about when you switch these things around, how much you can screw up things. Pop a leader sim in there. No, I'm not going to do that. Oh, did I disconnect the battery? You did, you idiot. I was wondering why it was looping on the Apple logo. Fortunately, we have a landline, so it's fine. We don't actually use the landline, really. We don't give that number out, although it's, you know, it's probably listed somewhere. But we just use it for the internet, and that's it. Yeah, we've got to have it for our fiber to the node. Okay. Cancel. Damn it. Why are you thinking I'm pressing that? Well, I'm not pressing that. Oh, shite. What? Okay, 4787. Yeah, can you hear me, sweetie? All good? Okay, thank you. Yeah, that sounded kind of crackly to me, so I'm not trusting it too much. Then I'll clean up the earpiece, although to be honest, the screen honestly could be replaced. Oh, that's mine. Don't lose that. Don't stuff things up. But she could hear me at least, so that was good. But Text Central is now active. Stuff that. That's not anything good. Yeah, progress at least. Like I said, I'm fairly sure it's gonna fail soon enough. But I'll tell them that. Just give them a fair warning. I guess it's a case of I'll say, look, it's functional, but most likely it is going to fail in the near future. So, you know, start saving up, prepare, do whatever you got to do. Okay, the earpiece is pretty shocking. We'll fix that up while we're here. Would you believe that my most popular video on my channel is cleaning out the earpiece? Got like 80 something thousand views on that thing. Just with me doing this. It's kind of depressing. It's a 2-minute video of me telling people to try rub a bit of alcohol and water mix to dislodge the earwax and crap or whatever it is, dead skin on the mesh. And yeah, I've got a heap of comments. People who are like, yeah, you saved my phone, I thought I was going to have to get a new phone. And it's got nothing to do with Macbook repair. Yeah, so we're getting progress. There's some holes in that. It's taking a little longer than I like, so I'm going to use a toothbrush and just wiggle it back and forth ever so slowly and let those bristles poke their way through the mesh. And then dry it off. By the way, I'm using 80-20 on this. This is not 100% isopropylene, it's 80-20. If you try to use 100%, you won't really get anywhere. Because most of the junk that gets into these ear meshes is water soluble stuff. It's not alcohol soluble in general. It's not fully. Oh, anyway. Ah, boy, it's late. Just believe me. Use 80-20. There we go. Now it's coming up good. And about this point is pretty much where I'll leave it. It's sort of diminishing returns beyond this. Oh, it's pretty acceptable. Hey DJ, that and cleaning out the charge port. Yep. Oh, cleaned it out for sewing needle, ruined it. Yeah, I've had a couple like that. People would say, I tried giving it a shot, and you look into it, and yeah, sure enough, the dirt's been mostly displaced, but so have all the pins. And you're like, you're gonna need a new charge port. This would have been a quick and simple fix, but now you've made it a terribly painful long fix. I mean, yeah, I respect people for giving it a go, but some people take it a little too far before they back off and think maybe this isn't working. There, Yoshi from India. Okay, I have forgotten to put that little bracket back in. Half of me says, don't bother, Paul, no one's going to notice, the phone's dying. The other half of me says, you're on a live stream, this is being recorded, you better do it properly. Oh no, it's got to latch into that little... Come on. There you go. Oh yeah. Don't touch the sensor. Nope. Okay, now I understand. It's got to latch in the face sensor first, and then it slides in there. Alright. That was a bit of fun. And also this has to come up so that the camera can attach to that there. Okay. Yeah, I know my pride will know. That's the only reason why I persist. If it wasn't for my pesky pride, I could get away with a lot of things. I probably wouldn't be as popular. I'd probably be richer though. Okay, that's all those. I can almost guarantee you when I tell them tomorrow, or when I message them and they respond, they'll say, oh, well, while you're at it, do you want to just replace the screen? And I'll be like, damn it. One thing I'm not a big fan of with particularly the 11s, is the fact that you can't really, they're not designed in a way that you can disconnect the battery, before anything else. You sort of have to violate the flexes a little bit to get to the plate that retains the battery connector. Now I don't know whether that's intentional, whether they don't really want you to actually disconnect the battery, or they don't care. They're like, it doesn't matter, we've got some circuitry in front of the battery that prevents mishaps, or whether it's quite the opposite and they're like, we want you to destroy it by accident. Okay, that's everything. Hey Gopaz, been a while. You notice laptops seem to be cooking their thermal paste lately. Twice now, replaced it at ZenBook and like a driver. Oh, really? I can't say I have, but I haven't been doing too many non-MacBook laptops. I do get a fair few people asking me, but I tend to reject a lot of them simply because most of the time it ends up being a waste of everybody's time. It's better for me to tell them, go get a new laptop, I'll transfer your stuff at this price or whatever. Okay, we're going to clean out the charge port now. As soon as I can find the right DBDACA tool to do it. Is this the right one? Nope, that's the dogleg one. This is the right one. There's actually very little on the bottom of this one. I wasn't sure because there is a fine layer on there, but it's clean other than that. I'll be able to clear that out. Just a remote application of light compressed air. As a non-industrial size compressor or anything like that. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, if you're watching, please don't use a normal, car, what do you call it, workshop compressor, because it will destroy the microphones. Okay, that's coming up. It's good. Alright then, well that pretty much ends it for tonight. Not really a very successful night. I mean, okay, fine, that's working, but like I said, I'm almost certain that's gonna not work in a month or two. I'll let them decide what they want to do. So we'll finish up there. I'm probably going to go and get some food, have some yogurt and muesli or something like that, and sit down, watch some YouTube, and then pass out. So appreciate you all sticking around for the boring stream that it was tonight. And if I do get into that 138 board, and maybe if I find that it is not the CPU, I'll let you know. But most likely it's going to be the CPU or the PC Edge. It's going to be one of the two. That's no good. So it's the way it goes sometimes. Okay, you'll take care. Much appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Catch you later.